guys, today I wanted to do a review of You Season 2. I didn't do one for the first season because I actually watched it on Lifetime before it moved over to Netflix. So I watched it like week by week on Sundays before anyone even knew about it. And I didn't end up doing a review because it wasn't so crazy popular yet. But now it is crazy popular. I thought I'd do a review or a reaction to it. Okay. The first season, I can't even it was so good. Like, it's a new kind of show. I do think it is something that definitely should be age restricted. I'm sure you guys heard about Millie Bobby Brown's reaction to it, saying how he's just in love, there's nothing wrong with him, and she's so young, and people could look at this behavior that Joe has and think that's healthy and just a lot of love, and really it's insanity, dangerous and codependent and just controlling and insane. So I do think there should be, more viewer discretion advised kind of stuff happening, because young people watching that could be quite dangerous for their psyche. But season 2, what? Okay, if you didn't think they could get any crazier than season 1, you were wrong. Well, let's just do that. Why don't I just tell you what I thought of season 2, and then I'll do spoiler alert, and you can turn the video off if you haven't watched it and you just wanted to see if you thought it was any good. I loved it. I watched all 10 episodes in 2 days. I thought it was fantastic. The first episode, I do have to say, I found it hard to get into. The first episode of season 1, I was already hooked. But season 2, I did feel kind of okay. The first episode is not the best one. I feel like you don't get hooked until the second one. I think that compared to the first season, it's a lot more crazy, and it gets crazier faster. But I think that's okay, because the first season was more introducing you to this crazy character, Joe. You know what I mean? We didn't know how much he could escalate in season 1, but now we do know how much he can escalate, so they can't go back to stage 1. You know what I mean? You can't just do the stalking and find the viewer to be interested in that when we already know what he's capable of, So I feel they did escalate a lot of stuff. Some stuff happened. I feel it really fits in with the environment they put it in. So if you don't know, season 2 takes place in LA. They showed that in the preview for it. The first season takes place in New York, and it felt very New York, and season 2 takes place in LA, and it feels very LA. The characters, everything is really accurate to that. I love the new characters. I love his interactions with them. I find that this season had a lot more humor to it than the first one. Season 1 was a lot more this romance, weird crime, what's he gonna do next thing. But season 2, I feel it's a lot more, we know what he's capable of, it's just what is he gonna do. Season 2 is also a lot more of him questioning himself, of him not wanting to be a bad person, of him not thinking he's a bad person. Season 2, we also find out a lot more about his childhood, how he turned out the way he is, why he is the way he is, which I think is definitely interesting. We see him... Hi, baby, you want to say hi? He obviously doesn't want to say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Okay, go on, lay down, birdie. I feel season 2, we definitely get a lot more backstory to him. We also see him interact with a lot of different types of people. I think that in one case, his patience in season 2 is better than season 1. In season 1, he was so, well, not just impatient, but quick to get mad, quick to get annoyed. And I feel in season 2, he's trying so much harder to get along with people he would have never gotten along with, and really create relationships that you wouldn't expect him to have. And he is trying to care more and be a better person, but you see more than one side to him. I feel in season 1, you're seeing his stalker-ness. Yes, he's in love, but he also is a crazy stalker and controlling and all this stuff. And season 2, you try to see, because we're seeing more of how that happened and how he became so crazy and sociopathic, or whatever the word is, because we're seeing that, I feel you do get more than one side to him. You see more of he's doing all these bad things for the right reasons, and at least we see why he can rationalize it to himself. And I said, I love the LA vibe. I'm not a New York person, and then this vibe is so cool. I think the characters in LA are funnier. They definitely make fun of LA people, and I think that's so cool. I really liked the kind of humor mixed in with the darkness of it. It gets really dark. It definitely does. It's also just a lot more shocking. I feel like season 1 was definitely shocking too, but like we kind of knew what was gonna happen. Well, I kind of did. In season 2, I didn't expect what happened. Not until like the episode, like there's obviously something different that happens every episode, but like the big like of this season, you don't see it coming until like early, just in that episode. Like you don't see it coming all season, and I like that. I think that's super cool. It's hard to shock me when it comes to TV because I watch so much of it, and they did that this season for sure. I think that Joe, his character is just super, super, like, I just love that he narrates. I usually hate narrated things, but I like that he does it. Like, it's cool. I love the actor. I mean, I don't love the actor, but he's very talented. Like, he's doing such a good job with this role. So I definitely think that if you watch season 1, you won't be disappointed by season 2 at all. I have heard some reviews of people not liking Joe's new love interest, but I will get into that once we get to the spoiler section. Seeing him in LA is cool too, just knowing he's such a, like, a hateful LA, like, he's a book reader from New York, like, I like seeing him in this new environment and how uncomfortable he is, and it's really, really cool. So I loved season 2. I cannot wait for season 3. There's 100% going to be a season 3. This show is so popular, and they also do, at the end of season 2, end it in a way that there has to be a season 3. So that's it for my opinion. I think you're going to love it. If you haven't watched season 1, watch it. Like, if you haven't watched the show at all, just watch it. It's so good. If you like anything like dark and twisted but like clever, you're gonna like it. It's not over the top anyway. It's not like too dark or too twisted. It has like its own moments of everything. It's good balance. But season 2, it has more humor in it for sure. Now, spoiler alert, stop watching now if you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers. I love season 2. Okay, so in the first episode you meet his new love interest, and you see that he is you know, struggling, wanting to be like, oh, I can't fall in love, that's my problem, I do everything for that. Well, that ends pretty quickly, doesn't it? And he meets this girl named Love, which of course is hilarious. And there's like this whole thing, I read this whole article about her name is Love, and it's like based on tennis or something. In the first episode that you meet her, I don't like her. I found her very like, why does he like her so much? She's so different from Beck, like so different from Beck. And I feel like I was still waiting for more like that. I don't know, like I felt like he had a type and he doesn't have a type. Like I feel like he zones in on someone that has nothing to do with who they are. It's just this connection that he has. So I definitely felt that. I felt like in the first episode I just didn't like her, but once we start seeing why he likes her, kind of, or like get to know her better, I like her more. I think she's really cool. I like her like whole vibe. I think she's just really cool and interesting. Of course, we know that he works at this really high-end like bougie grocery store that sells books. Like it's like a miniature version of Whole Foods that sells books. Yeah. And apparently it's based on like a real place in LA or California. It's like a real grocery store that's called Nowhere Backwards, I think. And of course their grocery store is Nirvana backwards, right? Navern, yeah. So that's interesting. They obviously copied that. Like I love the vibe of it. I've never been to LA, but I definitely feel like I'm more of an LA person than a New York person, so I liked that element of this season. I like him trying to hold back. I like seeing him not jumping right into being a stalker. Like you get to see a lot of him kind of like tiptoeing on the edge of like, should I stalk you? Should I not? That kind of thing. I like that we see that he stole someone's identity, and I think it's really funny, just the way that goes about. I think it's cool that he kind of made a friend who knows the kind of shit he can do, and still somehow thinks that he's like a good person. I think that we see a lot of him struggling with like being a good person. He does a lot of like rationalizing his behavior, and he does a lot of like not mistakes, but he does things that a normal person would do and realizes how hard it is, so he goes back to his old ways because it's easier and it makes more sense. He's like, oh, if only I had, you know, looked you up sooner, I would know this and this and that. So I feel like it's interesting to see that part of him. We see him move into a new place and interact with the neighbors there. Like, yeah, the neighbors in New York. I like this group better. I like the actors in this season better, I think. In last season, I did not like some of the actors. I liked Beck, but I don't like Shay Mitchell. I don't think she's a great actress. I like her, but I don't think she's a very good actress. I think some of the people from last season I just wasn't a fan of. Obviously, I love John Stamos, But this season, all the actors I thought were really good. They're also very new. I didn't recognize very many of the actors, so I feel like I like that they did that. I like that they didn't pull in people from other shows or other movies that we're familiar with. I think it works for the show very well. I think that I just really love his interaction with these like LA type people, since he's so opposite of that, and how he kind of can fall into it because he's trying so hard to fit in and he wants to seem normal even though he thinks he is normal. Like, it's just so interesting. I love learning about his new love interest. I love learning about her history, her brother. I love 40 is probably my favorite character in the entire thing. And I do like how they have kind of known people, like that comedian in this season. There's an actor in this season, like a famous person, and the actor who plays him, I can't remember his name right now, Nick something. He's like pretty famous, like recognizable, just kind of like John Stamos last season. Like, they're not main characters, but like having them as a known actor works. Like, they just really casted the season very well. And even last season, as annoying as 40 is, like, he is such a lovable character. I find he brought so much like pushiness to Joe. I feel like last season we had all of Beck's friends that pushed him and drove him nuts, but this season, like, 40 pushes him, but he can't do anything about it. I love their relationship, actually, because right off the bat, she was interested in him almost more than he was. Like, he was interested in her, but like immediately she was trying to get to date him and he was trying to hold back. And like, I like this season how she kind of pushes him back into his old ways more so than he does. I think that's super cool. I really liked that. I think that the whole season's super interesting until we get to the last few episodes. It gets crazy. Like, in the first like 6 to 7 episodes, you can kind of like, you know, oh, you want to take a break and go eat something or go to the store or whatever, but by the last like 3 episodes, you're like, you can't leave. You gotta sit in front of your TV for straight 3 hours because the last 3 episodes are so juicy. I like his relationship with Love. I think that the second, okay, big giant spoiler, if you have not watched the show, stop watching this video now. You can't blame me now, okay? When we find out Love is a murderer, what? Okay, the second he found, oh shit, what's her name? The second he found her dead in his little cube thing, and he was like, I didn't do it. I knew he didn't do it. I just knew it, because if he had done it, we would have been there. We would have seen it happen, just like we have for just about everyone else. Everyone else, we saw him kill them, and like, there's no way he would have killed her and we wouldn't have seen it as the audience. So I knew he didn't do it, and there were so many options of people who could have done it, but I was like, it has to be her. Who else would do that, you know? And she was so into him, and like, she was so into fighting for their relationship that I felt like she had to have done it. Also, her relationship with the other guy that was like best friends with her dead husband, I knew that that was like her trying to make him jealous. Like, when he was looking in her window and saw them together, there's no way she wouldn't have noticed some guy standing there. Like, I thought right at that moment, I personally was like, she knows he's watching her and like is doing that on purpose. And then when we find out that she really is the one that killed her, I kind of knew it, but I thought it would have been more of like a, holy crap, like, this is so crazy. Like, how could she have done this? But like, even when Candace showed her what happened, I knew that she already knew. Like, I could just tell. I don't think everyone would figure that out, but part of me did think Candace might have killed her, but I was like, she wouldn't though, because that's her whole process. Like, with Candace is like trying to make him look like a bad guy, and if she killed someone, it would have been really bad. So I figured it had to have been Love. And the second she killed Candace, I knew 100%. So I thought that was really cool. I like that they introduced another character that's like as messed up as him. But then I was thinking, like, how are they gonna do this? Like, what, for now on, like, the whole show is about him being obsessed with someone, but now that he knows she's a killer, he like wasn't obsessed with her anymore. And I was like, it would be great if he could just remain with her and they could be like crazy people together. But of course we know that's not the case. I just really like that we get to see him with another person who's just as crazy, and how he judges her when he's actually so much even more disturbed. But I do like the interaction between them, like once they find out that each other is like, you know, knowing that they both know about each other, I think it's super interesting. And I like that. Like, I like having her be in love with him so much that she'd kill for him. I think that's so interesting. I think it's so cool. I also think it's crazy how this relationship has happened so fast. Like, they said I love you so fast. Like the last episode, what happened to 40, I was upset. I love his character. I hate that we're not going to see his character. Maybe he'll be in flashbacks next season. The fact that she's pregnant I think that's a cool way to change up next season, because this season, I don't want to say it was like a copy of season 1 because it wasn't, but I think that'll give a whole new side to Joe. Like, why will he not want to kill people this season? You know, is it all for the kid? You know, I think that's super interesting. I love that she's pregnant. I think that's so cool. I think he couldn't have gotten someone else pregnant that wasn't as crazy as him, because it would never have worked. I feel like we still have to hear back about season 1. Like, I still feel like there's something gonna happen with that. Like, when Peach died, like, we still have to figure out more of that. Like, there's something that's gotta happen there. Like, as much as now he's in with this rich family and they're covering for him and stuff, I do think someone from New York is gonna come after him from the whole Peach thing and Beck thing. It has to happen. Like, there's no way that's not gonna catch up with him eventually. We know he's gonna be bored of this life. Like, as much as he says he doesn't want to hurt people and doesn't want to kill people, like, it's in him now, and he's done it, and he's done it multiple times, so we know that, like, he can't just live this, like, nice life with love and the baby. So, of course, at the end of the episode, he has a neighbor that he's obsessed with after looking at her through a fence. So I'm excited to see which actress this is and who they bring in, because I feel like it has to be different than Beck, it has to be different than Love, and like someone else for him to interact with. I am surprised about it though, to be honest, that this happened so fast, that they introduce us at the end of this episode, or at the end of season 2, because, like, I don't know, you want him to kind of be a parent for a while and like be with Love and kind of be like, oh, I'd do anything, we're gonna stay together for this baby, like, because he cares about kids and he wouldn't hurt a kid, technically, physically anyway. So I do think it's interesting that we see him get obsessed with someone else so fast, but like, it's interesting and like unexpected, but also I guess it's necessary because it shows that he really isn't a normal person, and I feel like the show is trying to be more aware of that. Like, this person is not just a sweet, loving guy who's been through something and like is kind of crazy. Like, he is a crazy person. The fact that he does have this chance to settle down now with a family that could cover up for everything he's ever done and erase his past and just move on and be a parent with and be married to Love. No, like, that's not gonna happen. I would have liked more of like a unknown though, like maybe the first episode of next season for him to be with Love and us to be like, oh, he's doing okay, and then something happened, but now we already know that something's gonna happen. That's like my vibe about it, but I am excited for season 3. Of course, we're gonna have to wait a hell of a long time, but I really like it. I think it's awesome. I want to know what you guys think. What, like, do you think it's better than season 1? Did you like it better? I feel like New York people obviously like season 1 better, but because I like the LA vibe more, that's why I like this season. It was definitely funner, right? Or more fun, my bad. I think the characters push his buttons more. I like the, oh, I cannot remember anyone's name. The girl, the neighbor girl, the young girl. I like her. I like just the girl that ends up dead, the other, like, her sister. I think they're funny. Like, the interactions between the characters are way funnier than season 1, and I like that. I think it's more of like a light balance with the darkness of what he's doing. I love season 2. I think it's better than season 1 overall. I think they're very on par with each other, like, but I do think that Netflix obviously is gonna be better than Lifetime. It was impressive for Lifetime that's where it started. Season 3 I'm really excited for, but I feel like at this point I think it's gonna be hard for them to beat season 2. I guess season 3 is gonna remain in LA, which I do like, because I did like the vibe and the characters. I know a lot of people hated Love. Let me know what you think, because I didn't hate her. Like, in the beginning I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate her, and based on the commercial I thought I was gonna hate her, but I don't. I like her. I think she's cool. I like her weirdness. Like, she's so not the kind of person I'd be friends with. So I thought that was cool, you know? That's my opinion on You Season 2. Let me know if you want me to do this for Season 3, or any other shows you want me to react to. Let me know what you guys thought of this show. Let me know if you've watched it yet. Let me know if you're gonna watch it, if you hated it. I hope you guys did enjoy this You Season 2 review, and I will see you in my next video.